Porn photographers, what is the most awkward moment you had? What do you feel when you film? How is your job generally? Not photographer here, but cinematographer. When I was at the beginning of my career, I accepted a proposal to work on a hard movie. After the second day of filming, the director approached me and told me, "It's clear you are a good cinematographer. I love how you manage the skin tones and mood." Just one thing. In this industry, it's not only the face that we want lit correctly. I was in AA when I was 19 and I learned that my then sponsor directed porn. Being an ambitious young man, I inquired about any job openings as an actor. He just shook his head and said, "You don't actually want to do porn. It smells bad." Can someone link the video of the camera operator eating a donut while filming a scene? That was what first came to my mind. I'm a photographer who has on a few occasions taken photos of porn, usually for friends who have OnlyFans, but my story is from before I did so. A model reached out for me for a shoot. We chatted normally and talked out some minor details. Nothing explicit, just a bit of topless stuff. Mind you, I didn't know her at all. She was a random person who reached out on Instagram. She texts me and tells me that we are going to FaceTime. At 12 a.m., I insist that we can talk tomorrow and that I'm already in bed, and she persists that it's fine. I hate FaceTiming, especially with people I don't know, especially at midnight when I'm already cozy in bed. She calls me and is in the middle of taking a piss completely nude and drunk off her ass. I was taken aback and told her we can just talk tomorrow. She gets upset and says that we need to talk now so she can show me her body and her tattoos. She says this as she's wiping up. I was super skeeved out and hung up. Needless to say, I did not feel comfortable doing a photo shoot with her and I ghosted. I had to shoot the ugliest couple I have ever seen. Woman looked like a 6-foot ogre and man looked like a tiny Harry Potter with a soul patch. They had zero chemistry and she kept looking at his junk and trying to make this sultry face, but it looked like she was confused and disgusted by it. They also insisted on shooting in the hot tub, but she was the exact same color as the stucco behind it. I was the model for an outdoor shoot and was posing on a pretty big boulder. Felt it tickling on my ass, looking there, and there was this lizard just chilling on my butt. Was so surprised I almost jumped off the rock. The photographer was very amused. I also learned that rock climbing naked is a lot of fun. I was once on set for a scene that involved faking accidental anal. So much poop. Then after the performer used the bathroom for an hour of douching, the scene continued. Every few minutes a cameraman or sound guy would wipe blood from the dude's dick. They weren't willing to halt filming because they had a tight schedule in the empty mansion they were filming and had a real estate appointment meeting in it that night. There was an AMA on this a while back. You may be able to find something there. I believe the cameraman was doing VR porn at the time or something related to that. Dude, I went to university, had a job working as cameraman for some sleazy Euro porn guy in the 90s. This was long before porn was easily available on the internet. This guy had multiple times he was hit with cum by accident. Well, there's that one video of the cameraman that got hit with some of the money shot in the face by complete accident. I was filming a scene with 2 girls fucking. It's not uncommon at all to kneel, sit, lay on the bed to get better shots. One girl ended up squirting more than I've seen in my 30 years as a lesbian, and it went all over me. Not only that, but I had to stay laying in the puddle for a few minutes before I could switch angles. I used to do adult photo shoots and ran multiple sites for individual models and general commercial stuff. I got a girl to fuck herself with a rubber chicken for a light-hearted shoot. She had a good sense of humor, so we were cracking up the whole time. I was responsible for all the creative work and themes, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Add to that many of my clients/models weren't the most stable people. I was all business. I just wanted to get the work done so I could get to the editing and publishing. I didn't get paid for gawking at boobs, I got paid for publishing content. Professional photographer, I used to take photos of sex dolls, the real expensive ones that cost thousands of dollars. I had my studio in my garage because my house was too small for any other room. It was the middle of summer and it was starting to get hot in the garage. Since I was alone, I undressed completely because I was just sweating profusely. These dolls are not easy to position. Their bones are metal and are very heavy. Think an actual girl would at least help you move correctly. Well, as I was grabbing one and moving it into position, my wife walks in the garage, to which I screamed, "This isn't what it looks like." She knew I was photographing them naked, but she just couldn't stop laughing. I took a job during college that required me to film fisting at a hotel. The smell was the most putrid, horrible smell you can imagine. I only did it twice, because the last time I was hired, about midway through the shoot, apparently there was not enough lube applied to the receiver's jelly donut. The sheer force of the fist, which actually looks more like punching a wet paper bag than some delicate procedure, caused a rip in this guy's asshole, and we had to rush him to the hospital in my car. There was all kinds of fluid leaking onto my back seat, some of it looked clear and some it was blood. Never again. Not even for what they were paying me. I've seen a video of somebody speaking about his time as a porn cameraman. The smell was generally bad, I mean they're fucking for hours in a closed room. Then, when you're filming from just behind the balls/ass of the dude when he fucks her/him is the most degrading, he said, because you're filming a dude's asshole and balls going back and forth right in front of you. It's probably also the smelliest place in the room. When they can't ejaculate, you cover the girl in Cetaphil or pina colada mix. I still can't drink pina colada. Also, the amount of girls that don't wipe their asses properly is astounding. I'm constantly having to tell girls to use baby wipes if they shit. Some still don't get it or are too high on Xanax to comprehend it, so you have to wipe their fucking asses. If the girl is especially awful in behavior, you'll let her have poopy butthole shots. My friend is a photographer and has been hired by some low-level porn companies to do shoots. He said one thing no one thinks of when looking at porn is the smells. He says mostly VO and cigarettes with some genitals in there too. One time he was working and afterwards the girl in the porn started to flirt with him while sweaty and naked. He said it was really gross and uncomfortable. I shoot and film everything from implied nude art stuff right up through Suicide Girls style sexy nudes and glamour, to hardcore scenes for pro and amateur models and for professional websites. I also manage on-live vans of my photography and films. The weirdest thing is how normal it feels during a shoot or filming. During nude photography, there's usually a constant banter with the model even when it's quite an explicit shoot. The arousal is entirely fake so the conversation is pretty natural. The only time it's awkward generally is when the male model has trouble getting it up. Then there's a bunch of waiting around usually while he watches porn and jacks off, then he's like go. Now. And we all have to be ready. There was this one shoot where the star of the video's mom walked in. It was a mess. She freaked out, screamed, asked what she was thinking. Then she exclaimed, "That's not how you do it, this is." And it was a really beautiful moment between mother and daughter. For me, the worst thing was when my parents found out what I did. They were devastated. They ended up filing a lawsuit against me and I had to remove the video. They never agreed to be in it. So my first time filming was my buddy and his GF. We went to this motel, definitely not a hotel, and I went out to drink, calmed the nerves, with his GF while he set everything up. I came back and threw in some headphones and we started up. I was pretty buzzed at this point and started getting really into it. The camera had a big microphone, that had a foam covering over it and stuck out on the front of the camera, and I got too close to my buddy's butthole and poked it. You can still hear me going "oh fuck" in the video. Also another time I drove him around while he fucked this little doll. It was absolutely wild. Liam Blake was his name.